Hey guys, ETN Sun here from Sunbros, and it's time for another Hero Quick Look video. Today we're going to be talking about the brand spanking new mage coming out, Ignis. Ignis' class is mage and his role is harass. As you guys can see in the bottom left, his difficulty is well above average and his ability damage is almost maxed out. Ignis' passive is called Sacred Flame. Ignis' abilities place a mark on the enemy targets. The marks unlock an extra ability effect for each of his abilities. Ignis' first ability is called Fire Crash. Ignis fires a fire orb and deals magic damage to the first enemy hit, as well as all the enemies behind the first target hit in a cone. Ignis also gains a movement speed buff. If Fire Crash hits a marked target, Ignis will also gain a shield. Ignis' second ability is called Rain of Fire. Ignis summons a rain of fire in the target area, which deals damage and slows all targets in that area. Marked targets will additionally be stunned. Ignis' ultimate is called Holy Embers. Ignis creates a sacred formation that deals a bunch of magic damage to all enemy heroes in the area. Marked targets take additional magic damage also. Alright guys, now we're going to go ahead and move on to the pros and cons of Ignis. We're going to start with the pros, which is the strengths you're going to want to focus on when you're playing as him, and the things you're going to want to avoid when you're playing against him. The first pro for Ignis is that he has huge AoE damage potential. His first ability, Fire Crash, even though it only hits a single target, it does an AoE explosion in a cone area behind that person, and the damage is pretty substantial. Follow that up with Ignis' second ability, Rain of Fire, which is just a large circle of AoE damage. And then his ultimate, Holy Embers, Ignis creates a very large circle, and after 1 second, everyone in that large circle takes AoE damage. So in effect, all of Ignis' abilities actually do AoE damage, making him one of the most potent AoE damage dealing mages in the game. Ignis' second pro is that he has incredible poke. His first ability, Fire Crash, not only travels a long distance itself, but because it can hit minions, enemy heroes, or jungle monsters, and it does a bunch of damage to anything behind it, the range is actually extended. And as if that wasn't awesome enough, that first ability has a really low cooldown of 3 seconds throughout the entire game, and of course cooldown reduction can get it to about 1.5 seconds. And that actually brings us to our third pro for Ignis, is that all his abilities across the board don't have very long cooldowns. They have very low cooldowns, starting with that first ability, which can get down to about 1.5 seconds. It's standard at 3. His second ability, Rain of Fire, starts at 12, but by level 6 is at 7 seconds, and then the ultimate starts at 24, but by level 3 gets down to 16. It's pretty rare to find any hero in the game who has such low cooldowns across the board, but what makes it more impressive to me is that if you build cooldown reduction, all 3 of these abilities will have a sub 10-second cooldown. Now we're going to move on to his cons, which are his weaknesses that you're going to want to avoid if you're playing as him, and things that you're going to want to take advantage of or exploit if you're playing against him. Ignis' first con is that all 3 of his abilities are skill shots, so there is no pointing and clicking and hitting targets. Everything has to be aimed, and it has to be aimed well. His ultimate is even harder to aim because even though it's a very large circle, it has a 1 second delay, and if not casted at the right time can be dodged or jumped out of. Ignis' second con is that he's very squishy. Ignis doesn't have any dash or jump or any kind of abilities like that to help him escape danger. He has a movement speed buff of 40% for 1 second with his first ability, Fire Crash, which he can keep up most of the time, but for the most time you're going to find that Ignis has a really hard time getting out of danger, and his mobility is really an issue, and obviously as a mage he's going to be extremely squishy. He can be easily killed really quickly by an assassin or something like that, like most mages can. And that actually ties into my final con for Ignis, and that's that Ignis is very team reliant, whether it's to not get destroyed because he's so squishy and has such poor mobility, or on the flip side, it's the fact that Ignis is at his best when he's dealing his AoE damage to as much people as possible. So if that means having a Thane or a Raz or somebody like that on his team who can do a good job of grouping the enemy heroes together, when Ignis can get a hold of as many people as possible with that incredible AoE damage is when he's at his best. That's it for this one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and obviously check out our other Hero Quick Look videos along with our brand new how-to series, and of course our most popular top 5 series. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, till next time.